The Third ISID Forum on Financing for Inclusive and Sustainable Industrial Development was organized by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, together with the governments of Ethiopia and Senegal and the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, on the side of the Third International Conference on Financing for Development.
I'm very pleased that this Third ISID Forum of UNIDO being successfully completed this morning.
The ISID Forum took place at the ECA's Africa Hall in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where more than 400 VIPs and high-level participants attended.
Achieving the Sustainable Development Goals requires more than finances. I'm convinced that partnerships are the means of implementing the post-2015 development agenda. When countries industrialize in an inclusive and sustainable way, they can create decent jobs and preserve their resources without exploiting the environment or people.
Crucial challenge that the global community has gained here in Addis Ababa to address is how to finance the achievement of SDG.
Promoting inclusive and sustainable industrial development calls for a broader range of resources than any single development institution can provide on its own. This type of development requires investments not only in industry, but also in associated infrastructure such as transport facilities and utilities. It also calls for policies, strategies, and regulatory frameworks designed to facilitate market access, create decent jobs, attract foreign direct investment, upgrade technology, and ensure environmental sustainability.
I firmly believe that it can only be resolved through effective multi-stakeholder partnerships, bringing together all the major players in the development process, including governments, bilateral, multilateral development agencies, national, international development financial institutions, the private sector, civil society, and academia.
The inclusive and sustainable industrial development is very important for job creation and income generating and growth for the country. So we try to bring the best practices, also those good experience from other countries, and apply that to the country which need great support. We carefully selected the country with a strong leadership, committed to the economic development, industrialization, and also basic infrastructures there, stability, institutional, relatively strong. We selected Ethiopia and Senegal. And we sit down together with World Bank, African Development Bank, those two very powerful development institutions, global and regional, and with the government. Our four parties sit down together to discuss how to develop the industrial strategy, industrial development plan for the country. And finally, the government take it as their own. The government and the parliament approve that plan. So now we fully implement those plans, which covers a wide range of the sectors, areas, for instance, like agro-industry, agro-processing, textile, leather industry, light industry, and renewable energies, and plus environment. So those areas are being developed through the industrial parks, economic zones, or some single activities which contained in the strategy, in the plan.
The forum has special significance in both its timing and focus. I believe that the concept of inclusive and sustainable industrial development goes right to the heart of the Sustainable Development Goals. It is needless to say that high state of economic and social development is unthinkable without having developed and advanced industrial sector. Neither history nor practice proves otherwise. We are setting up industrial zones and agro-food parks, which are expected to serve as epicenter of agri-industrial transformation process in our country. We are also continuing to heavily invest on infrastructure, on developing the necessary human capital with the required skills and know-how.
we started initiate this PCP in November last year. So since 7 months passed, we've seen great progress being made in this country. So this is why we have the confidence on the country's industrialization. And Senegal is also going quite well.
La mise en œuvre de l'approche partenariale permet notamment de renforcer l'industrialisation et la production manufacturière, de faire fonctionner les zones économiques spéciales et les parcs industriels et d'établir des infrastructures et chaînes logistiques.
I applaud UNIDO and the governments of Ethiopia and Senegal for their dedication and hard work towards advancing inclusive and sustainable industrialization in their countries through the program for country partnership. They set an example for the rest of us on how to partner together to accelerate public investment and attract private finance in key industrial sectors. This program for country partnership can serve as a model for realizing the other SDGs too.
Donor countries and being coordinated, implementation with the progress are very well seen, and especially I just would like to mention the private sector coming. They have a trust on the government, on the program. So the private sector coming is a final solution. They bring the financial resources, they bring the expertise, they bring the equipment, technology, and also plus the access to markets. We are happy with that, and through this third ISID Forum today, we could see the representatives from the governments, from the development financial institutions, and from the private sector plus civil society. They are really supportive to this PCP.
If we look at the discussions on the post-2015 development agenda and sustainable development goals, they correctly locate inclusive economic development as central to the eradication of poverty, disease, and hunger. The pilot that UNIDO has started with Senegal and Ethiopia, to us is an actual practical step, not only towards implementing the post-2015, but for implementing Agenda 2063, which is the Africa we want.
Achieving SDG 9, in particular promoting inclusive and sustainable industrialization, means getting all businesses on board, from local SMEs to large-scale multinationals, and involving them actively in this new global partnership to achieve sustainable development. For those developing country governments who want to support competitiveness and economic growth, the primary challenge is how to integrate domestic firms and industries into local, regional, and ultimately global value chains. We regard innovative financing as one of the key means of implementation for the post-2015 agenda. Our aim for the next 5 years is to unlock 100 billion euros of investment by 2020 through our European Union blending facilities.
The Common African Position on the post-2015 agenda advocates for inclusive growth, structural transformation, and industrialization as the key pillars of Africa's definition of sustainable development. Industrialization has superior capability when it comes to generating decent direct and indirect employment, forging strong backward and forward linkages within the economy and with the external sector, which are all necessary for ensuring sustainable development for the continent. So long as Africa keeps industrializing, it can keep growing and ensure that the well-being of all Africans is uplifted.
In recognition of the complexity of these challenges, we applaud UNIDO for launching its program for country partnership in Ethiopia and Senegal.
UNIDO received unanimous support for its multi-stakeholder partnership approach and the PCP model for the implementation of the proposed Sustainable Development Goals. This support was recognized in the outcome document of the Third International Conference on Financing for Development. The Addis Ababa Action Network welcomed relevant cooperation within the United Nations system, including UNIDO, to advance the linkages between infrastructure development, inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and innovation. The program for country partnership is being piloted in Ethiopia and Senegal. UNIDO seeks to promote and accelerate inclusive and sustainable industrial development, ISID, for shared prosperity and environmental sustainability around the world. The concept of ISID is included in the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, namely Goal 9. Build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. UNIDO's mandate echoes SDG 9, but also aligns with all other development goals, including those related to poverty eradication, creating full and productive employment, protecting the environment, achieving gender equality, and the empowerment of women and girls.